Osafa mu nyina adwo na nwumre eba no sia bremu kase boso no sia bo na ebrei ebrede kase brede semufo de amaye na ebo akire ede amamo na ye kai mo se okọ DSTV ni so channel 360 obenya UTV Ghana o sanso na social media Facebook Ghana o sabeka UTV oho sanso na Twitter na other handles ni nyina no ye di bremu yi okọ a obenya bi na wakenkan bi TV de ekoso na nwumre ye fast da ma this way chocolate drink nwumre onya bi no ma ebeboa na wonem de anya hode sanso nsu special mineral water no musu papa na wonu aduane anwumre na otum nchinde a YouTube audit sort na osika semeka wo se wo so na akọ bank dia na best point omo na mfie duba akoni ototo ne o bibia akoyi e de ama oman Ghana ma omo na nwumre o maso asense ye mfa kasebo emfa mremo na de edi mu akotin ebi enese ade a mampani e de atodwa se wo mu se omo de to aba beto eye fanwo so na so nya ade a ebo no eba be kosro
Ghana mampani abedeche dada His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia so akasa se NDC amanyoko no adada Ghana for esan se omo na ka se e-levy enye ne nei omo se atwa omo ho e de eto foforo aba
nano na kumasi adaba fo bi akiro madwen afa eye fanwo a ye de eto foforo aba beto so no ma kire yo mo ho efa eho
ene June 4 na NDC amanyoko no joint training Johnson Esiedu Nketia wakasa ache se NDC amanyoko no enyoma bone a amanfo eye no ena no ena omohwe amomo ebuhu akonta
saso ena petro anase fango ayede eye to ababeto so no wo mu kabie wo mu nwumaku ahodo mo edidwuma wo mu no akire o madwen se eho de aban no enye ne yi
mu nyina nimsem dada se anes for maimu atietua ene yebekọ maso eye ne ene o makodi nkomo aso ahwe se tuatio no efa no mudi akodo o masesa o madwen anase o mugina mu
weni nsemi ne ebo akire di amamu se nwumre no nsia bremu kase boy de nsemi eba ye me enim ado meni
Kwame Owusu Adiomi
afi ye moranso ne ekọ mampani His Excellency John Dramani Mahama enra na certificate of agency ekọ mrahye na ese putupru omo ebobo hu entempa edi hu dwuma wiye se fango ebo de eto eba beto so se ne betumi aboa na ekabie ho kiremu se enyinam kane ho nsem dum so ho nsem ne be ye betwa no oman hia sika na yi eno de afiri ho na eba na mama na kire omadwe na de do omayanim se mampani His Excellency John Dramani Mahama kire se bill naba yaji atu nso oman mani nya gidie ewo musanya de afango bo no yedi ebi eba be kan.
In line with the dialogue's recommendation to boldly tackle the crisis in the energy sector, Parliament yesterday approved an amendment to the Energy Sector Levies Act and the Certificate of Agency, introducing a 1 CD, Ghana CD, increase in the energy sector recovery levy. This decision, though difficult, is necessary and justifiable. The additional revenue projected is 5.7 billion cedis annually. This revenue will be strictly ring-fenced to pay down legacy energy debt, finance ongoing fuel purchase, and avert the risk of recurring power shortages. Funds from this levy will not be subject to the hazards of the consolidated fund. And the minister is here. I know when money falls into the consolidated fund, it faces certain hazards. It will not be subject to the hazards of the consolidated fund. The fund will be regularly audited and audit reports made public to ensure its transparent use. While initially much of this revenue will go into the purchase of fuel to ensure stable supply of electricity, with the ongoing developments in the upstream sector, we expect to receive more gas from our E&I Sankofa and Jubilee and 10 fields. With also the assurance of additional gas through the West African gas pipeline, we expect to substantially reduce the use of liquid fuels in our energy mix. At that stage, the resources generated by this increased levy will be channeled to pay down accumulated legacy debts in the power sector. With the recent gains in macro stability and strengthening of the Ghanaian cedi, this levy is not expected to result in any immediate fuel price increases at the pump. We are fully aware of the burden this will place on households and businesses, but I want to assure Ghanaians that this decision was not taken lightly. Furthermore, the government will continue working to reduce systemic inefficiencies in the energy procurement and distribution sectors, while enhancing targeted social interventions for vulnerable groups.
wasa enyamto ya ena Ghana mampanyi abedeche dada His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Baumia akasa afa ho se ene NDC amonyoko no omadada Ghana for isan se abra omo edi e-levy bae no omo ankasa ene be ka kire Ghana for se MPP amonyoko a odom no omo mpe Ghana for yi na we die Ghana for emmo omo isan se eto ahodo pa ena NDC amonyoko no ebe so egu Ghana for so papa edi nsem we nyina to dwa ene e wo Central Region abra na ne thank you to e fa etwa no one amanfo e kasa e wo ho
NDC for omutwa ntro bebre every day obie hu ntro a omutwa enra anajo sembo nyina mo omudi dumso levy aba dumso levy so first no mo say e-levy na yedi aba omobeyi e-levy no omobeyi ene omudi dumso levy aba. It is 8 times the e-levy. Omo susu anyo. And then uto 1 liter of petrol 1 cedi na ubetua. Uto 1,000 cedis of petrol ubetua 83 cedis. 83 cedis as tax. E-levy no usende obi 1,000 momwa ubetua 10 cedis. Omu ene betua 4,000 obetua 83 cedis for fuel. We nimunyina more beba. By the time yebedu 2028 no Ghana nyina be hu se omutwa ntro bebre mimi gidi se omubeka nkire yen se yensan ba biom embafa aban no ensiesie Ghana.
Ya transfer no so na ye ko aban kuntabufo ototo nioma ye government statistician no odi me bosumi twam kotonima abosumi no ehun kuntabu abamonten so na Dr. Alhassan Idrisu achiremu se wo hwe nkuntabu omubu ya petrobo akofom ahyentiade a akofom ne ade na eka ho binti efi oha nchichemu aduonu baako achipo mienu no aba oha nchichemu dunwatwe ni achiripo enan.
For May 2025, inflation performed to 18.4%. Last month, April, na inflation na 21.2%, and as you see, performed to 18.4%. Now here, sir, inflation here performed here. Here, that's the lowest performed since February 2022. That's the lowest. Now here. Senior year no so start here. This is the 5th straight year-on-year inflation decline so far. Pai mu na food inflation any non-food inflation say food inflation no eno form by 2.2 percentage points. In fact, na 25% April, just last month April, but this year no performed to 22.8%. And one of the reasons why inflation overall performed to 18.4 no, is because food inflation performed. Now here, no non-food. April, now 17.9%. April 2025. This year no performed to 14.4%. Nyama ye Ghana, he produce Ghana no. The inflation no, and also performed from 22.9% in April 2025 to 19.2% in May 2025. In fact, nyama yekra from abrotrade Ghana no, we inflation last month na 17.7%. Above from this May to 16.4%. And generally no, yet most inflation no above from. In fact, if you inflation data no per region, we say 16 regions for Ghana has regions ni na inflation. We show April inflation. Now to compare May inflation. In fact, May inflation no above from ni na except Upper West region. Upper West region pay and an inflation cost to 38.1%. This month no, they say it me pie inflation so that you bet me I explaining in terms of inflation for goods and inflation for services. And to share inflation for goods, no, and na was through seeing inflation for services. And secondly, another new thing I introduced for this month, you know, to me, inflation is distinguish between headline inflation and inflation a cover goods in our basket, no. And yes, I distinguish among between headline and then also core inflation. Core inflation, no, you may be over prices, no, cost na basi jumpy. Ntisanya mano person underlying inflation trends say we film. Nteno so yetimi yifim mo yetimi determine sa prices no. Nto hwa core inflation no so ba form. Nti both headline inflation e ba form, core inflation so e ba form. Wo hwa cedi na sisia no enya honde no eno so ka ho because inflation na ye measure no. Some of the items ye kra fi abroad any other bar. And all crania maswa, I say we use dollar, and I say we use foreign currency. Now the crap. Transportation fares are dependent. One of the cost drivers is fuel. And so the taxes, fuel. Now say even though we resist cardia supporting energy, definitely all other things being equal. Ebema the price now cost kakra. So immediately a bit near I impacted prices kakra, but in the medium to long term, no, the benefit would outweigh the cost.
Penny Quantre for no and da importers and exporters association ano Samson Asaki Awingo bit and wakasa atoto ashre abanse apambia da Ghana Revenue Authority NFA SML intemno aban enhwe na ontwa sa apamno esanse adwuma SML ene GRA so mbe digiska afa ene form agudi ayetu fango no ade a MPA for deda nti adwuma SML for no adwuma na nko se MPA for na nti aban enhwe na onje sa adwuma ni enfri omunsem na owi a mpanyifo a da SML ano ye omoye sa adwuma we nyina no aban enhwehwe omusika semu ode se we nyina to join na abra friend central phone share mu na ode omukasa
SML your from strategic mobilization limited. Now omo two contract upstream and downstream. Upstream they say where say Ghana we are part of a country oil production oil producing country. And omo say cosmos talo no munu omo sumu djuma no omo ye no omo di koma no to no omo system ma omo batima monitor. But about say Ghana for announced say 2024 there about April no. Na ya ina so say that this company omo boy krono pa na President Darano, President Akufado, Emma KPMG, Ebam Insights, by investigation. Moya say him say moya professional auditors. Until moya auditors no you na President Akufado or issue white paper at that time. Say upstream Jumano Masumoya no or mobile yanchum. But na ka contract back on any downstream no. Say the transporters, oil marketing companies, ya di ko bust eno mu ina no, ya di oil bar na ya di cotton wear. Saying tax send ya mutuyama aban almost that ejumasaju no en continue enti MPA enche na MPA so EPA bae na MPA say omo was our system omo de monitor fuel levels at retail na any filling system men wo ya ekoto fuel no omo was system omo de track distribution petroleum product say if anything to do with monitoring the fuel levels retail illicit and that is no more system now. Why is Abai continuing to allow SML to be collecting SARS in the name of say omo the same juma? Am I Ghana for? Na sika Abai tiomo busum bia every April bedu ene na me gidi say ene kura na yakaso na me ba na kura mpo omo kwaje omo May say wa June ene June 4th maybe omo kura omo di kan kwaje omo May check na munim sika omo Abai tiomo muka through JR, you got $1.4 million. Say MPA pa our system no. Now this SML continue to say that they are also doing the same job no. They are pretending they are not doing any job until you say I buy unchum sa contract and him ya.
Ya transfer no so akwa sentiment temu na ye kaise Ghana Registered Nurses Association omni midwives no ene yomdo na de egu form na ye ni asantimantemu de daoma no ura chuna se free anto eni nkomoni ahwe asantimantemu so no ba a nurse for the midwife for ho nsɛm to say referee o timi nka mo adwoba YouTube so anyumre
Mejo so bene a
ba cho bia bokode
nyaminti ye hoye
nyaminti de yi nyame firi wa nka ye nkwa de nka dan mo ba ne sɛ na hede na de agu fumi
eni se bene May 2024 ena Ghana abaya wo ye yen employer na nurse for ne midwife ye adwuma public sector no ye employer a Ministry of Health Ghana abaya ejina Ghana abaya name and ye collective agreement a conditions of service by ye chire bibia they was signed ejina abaya name as Chief Executive of Fair Wages and Salaries Commission and Chief Director of Ministry of Health Sujina Abaya name and a President ni General Secretary so back sign about witness say near give to Musa agreement here de be Germany. Yes, say ye be Jumana na say manso kakra bi abahon. Kwata January 2025 and ye can be bia wie ye rekoto abaya nim say assembly ni condition of service no ho enti fire adwuma na chief director boy amane say yenim say minister foforo aba enti yenhwe minister foforo emmra ampa nche bia ne boy ewura kando din na say ewura kando aba ne de nyame ya aduma yenini dada if say why adwuma parliamentary select committee on health ama yenin ne din sawo so eni nkuta ho bebre enti enya de say ebe ha adwuma ampa neveti nyina nurse for ye tu nipa di akire ekota na chi wo ho ma ye bibia ye wie ne ko ba ye wie de ato nanim da be na ba implement ni etu aseda ni committee ni aba woni ni amanfo di nkomo Ministry of Health wa na che say ya ye say ade no ase anye ne ye mfanya adwuma bi aye no hu bibi nsi da bi agreement ya sign dada eda ho say 2020 agreement na ye di tua ye kasensi ya ye wo hoi eno ba ye watua na kama tia de ntina we de minister ye say ye kan no de atoya ye kan no mu de atoya na je say aye meeting upon meetings a emfa hwe ma ena 25th May anano brother twemu no ye press conference na press conference na ye kura ba bonten ye members ne say na de strike mu mpese ye be kwa na every say Mama obi to say generous roadmap no kire say anano brada na yen ya ka kire obi a say ye be ko strike enso so ya kai aban say joade be ye be boku jan e brada be ye be boku jan ukuada ansa ne be withdraw OPD services and emergency services Juada Yiboko Jan will be NCN, a Benada Yiboko Jan will be NCN, and a do so set you withdraw emergency services and the OPD services. And then Asantiman with you. Miss
Anto, Pacho, Otiminka, Asantiman Tem now, Casafim, say, or my money and all can be. And they are Santiman Tem that is saying, Krupon Namashasi, another district of Santiman Tem Namashasi, Nabisina, no Siabokobo, no sewing. Monterey.
Obian can't intre a bank can't intre na a free news yeah you make it's my culture say nurse for no obia di super say a panel enti obia OPD for no obia nko emergency services bia anya adwuma me hunu say managers bi try say o mo be compensate aye no maybe ni nyina so anya adwuma enti na to me bikra na ya yoro ho ama ya ayedeja o hwe videos e free comfort no che ene suntre so ne mansia ene Kumasi South Hospital Jaben Hospital be kwa hospital to health centers nyina nurse for no ya bere midwives for no ya bere enti obia ya jai na ya sra semani abanka nya ya ken nyina chi no wo mantie ne duru 9 fo a ene yi wo mo inside ya hwe wo mo no kora ye nyina ye bipie na che se bia mban panimfo wo kwan be fa so ahwe wo mo a wo makohwe wo mo enti de asantima mu de na de ekoso ne se nurse for OPD emergency services there.
Mr. Anto, but when Mr. question we na ye fancy na de otie hu de anamontu aban no matu akodu o kan se akoye yesi se aban no si oba ya che minister soafo nankasa ne health director nankasa no mo mu hia nsem be mpa no mo ka kire mu a ye ntua ana ibetua na ye nada
yes minister what says young quality committee near implementation but yes so adwumanya afa ni ye be ye adwuma che ni se mo twere condition of service ni wi a se ebia mamema typical example ebia se mo nkotua professional identification number obia pin sika manual yes minister of finance actually letter connect na midwifery council say ma peneso ma jetu mu say metia o peneso jetu mu so betia wi a ansa na committee na be say fine for na ka ho numbers ne yesen sana committee ni hwe na we de obi ama ya approval na onim abi ato ye da emire bi ye condition of service 2016 obi an tira krata to so da 2015 condition of service ye na ye krata akwa ni kurayen obi an tira krata to so kwa eno asen so ni wo mu a na obi aye no because that nurse for we mu no select ne maya oti committee no a obe den hunu se nurse for
okay zanto ebeda se enkomo yigiri se ebrese we besan ato aso ya domo school yigiri se yedi nkomo ya de empanifo hwe na ombehu de omode ebeye se ne beya apomudin de yensre emfa mobrant no ndubo a ye ba beto aso busiafo ye ni owura free anto na twetwe nkomo na sentimentem ye nurse ne midwives no no dawo ma no we nyina eyo mo nade omode agu fom nkomo na twetwe no ye bese ne gina adane ye ho ya jabo afo nkrato ye ba babeto akasebo no eso
for your mama kwa bas ma train ne yakoje nkrato ye to akase bonu so a na ekopim e o mrahye bejefi eho na soafa no na hwe efisem so honorable Mubarak Muntaka akokasa ensem bia no ya eye mrahye bedwane a ono na gina ho ema ebuakwa no honorable Nana Ampa Kwame Ado ebisa fa anamo a aban A2 efa ekuafo a omo ne mpatamu ene fulani fo a ene omo ha omo na papa na kasa no na ochemu se aban aso egu fom a omo ya ahoboa sentawantawa bi ebeba ne hom ne so no a police for ewo ho a ombehwe ama bibia atodin.
From Kukurantumi reported to the New Tafo police that the migrant herdsmen were destroying their farm. A meeting was subsequently organized by the Municipal Security Council, MUSEC, with executives of both parties to find a way to avoid clashes between them. The meeting agreed that the migrant herdsmen should leave Ebuakwa North jurisdiction within a week, which the herdsmen did not comply with. On 25th of January 2025, the MUSEC, in collaboration with the Ghana police, undertook an operation to drive away the herdsmen. After the operation, some of the herdsmen were still found to be in the jurisdiction. Mr. Speaker, on 30th January 2025, the MUSEC again met with the farmers and the remaining migrant herdsmen where it was agreed that the herdsmen leave or face arrest and prosecution. There have since not been any complaints from the farmers. Mr. Speaker, it must, however, be stated that there are indigenous cattle farmers within the Ebuakwa North who control the grazing of their cattle, which do not cause destruction to farms of the local farmers as compared to the migrant herdsmen. The police intelligence is, however, monitoring the situation to avoid potential tension between the migrant herdsmen and the farmers. The migrant herdsmen were all flushed out. But you have people like you and I who have our own cattle, and we regulate the way they graze, and they graze within a limited area. For those ones, they are running their business and they are Ghanaians like you and I, and we ensure that they do not normally cause harm to other farmers because they coexist peacefully. Where the challenge is with the migrant herdsmen, and as far as the information to me indicates that all those who were there were made to leave. Unless if my colleague have any contrary view, he can let me know and I'll follow it up. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yetwa so akwa santima ntemana ahyentiafo anase ahyenkafo ensemane omo ekane se osoafo a ohwe omanfango ensikasem ensem so erefango hu nsem bi ebaase emfa to bi emeto fango so na adabafo kumase se ensem no omo nhyeda ntiase sanse nansen ene ehye omo ma ahyentiade omo tisu wie ya afia akwa se fango ene disika ba be kan so omo nkonkutuere no eno mo kiro madwen eriche UTV and Central 4
abano odebase yatete diesel ne dollar so entity lole first so na say entity lole first wa wasade sa taxi abe no na say driver for say oye dey entike be sa ba na say sa de ndie onkomra biem e say eto bia ba driver for nko na yahura mane e say okodwoma entity bibia so light bay board den enti de ye be sa ba na say ko de adawroma omo ya daba fo no na to bia ba daba fo no odigu so
asem we da no ode o because fu na akwa kwates na but nsem be aba because ready defense na anye bia nso omo say ento se be ende ba sa we na mo be to sende ba ha adwen kakra e kama mo kama adwen chira pa de anka mboa e help ba aba na ba so ba ma ye do aba se yenye skill so ba ma say se wa chire onyo kwa won tiase
ye mpanifo no mo hwe bibie na mo hu de aye na omo mfo mboa ye na se oman no omo kanse ma na ye nde wie na ye bo omo abaso wie a na afro omo apebi foforo na omo sign de 8 ayen the omo de ko parliament omo ji atum ne de say omo de bill bi beto fuel so ama ye anyway no e be say ama discussion asan abayen driver for be kan yen so omo ji atum de wo so omo hwe na omo hu de omo be ye na omo ye den omo recover because sika e be ko ati adum so a say dum so de nka wo say nka ye de yisi for na e no omo kan enyen driver for because in driver for the 24 na etukwan it is the sika ebe kudum so a abra me san tua large bill me coffee me tua large bill is me tua large bill na so me san kotofu na yan san ti me sika ye fa nkoko dum so de na che say difference be na o say me large bill ni kon say o say me large bill and me driver ni de o say me koba na yeti me sika ndi tua ye de kudum so na me so ma better light me free eti o mo hwe no mo hu say ade na o mo ye na be kwan e be san kwan ati o mo ankasa
me fam de eye e be say dum so no ahaya nti just one city de ntime entwi bibia ankofom ntime nkwa ma adwene de me foa so
ka bill bi be ba e bia ye te won hyehyɛ se o ye de bill we ko parliament na ka ya dey we so de ante we we so mo de aba fine aba ye ni hwe ka ba de e be sere ne se Kumase Accra road nipa ewu wo sa kwa we se so no enya de ketu o accident e kum nipa enya de papa enti me de me mesere se so mo de ba de a omo fanko road ni e fa maintain kwa no dum so na ba na mpe kwa ya obefa so obesolve ni dum so ya drivers na omo be scan e se free e ho enti scan omo be free ya drivers wo no omo fa nye kwai
payinfo mu ye bibia aya mo so mo nkare kakra because sa no ma we ya mo sa de aba no ye drivers for na ye so ye twunko for de na nye ya ka no se na ye ya nteso o anu kura ye so ho na mo se kofa sa de we ya ba ye sra mo se empayinfo so ne ye empayinfo na omo soro ne nyada enkasa se de be ya wo kina nko ye so ye koba ye ma meda kom ana se ye so ye benya bi e de ama ye yire ne ye ma
enene da etoso eduanan insia ya June 4th ebaye na NDC amonyokono omache hofa ama John Trenia ono ene gina homa NDC amonyokono eye Yera Johnson esiedu nketia wakokasa ewase akase se the June 4th nhihye na esitie no se ye hwehwe nsemu na yebu akonta papa eno ena omuda so ekurem enti eno no eka ho bi na ene NDC eba omo Ghana for se omo ba ebedi Ghana man so a ombehwe no amemo papa na afi akontabu a o se wona ebedi aban ekoye no omubu ekire Ghana for no eno ana omuda so ekrem enti se o te se afa panyi bi etoto na no a na enye bo apayo na ebom ompese omohwe na omubu akonta papa ekire Ghana for said the June 4th emra esitie no
any system of governance that lacks accountability cannot be described as democratic. And we didn't just say resetting just orally and left. We actually put the resetting agenda in our manifesto that the promise to reset Ghana, to hold people who have messed us up accountable for what they have done us and our future, was a clarion call throughout Ghana. And I'm not surprised that the agenda to reset, as expressed in ORA and the resetting of other state institutions, accounted for a significant quantum of the votes that we had.
The youth, our young people, are not a homogeneous group, and we must be careful not to pigeonhole our youth. Africa has the youngest population in the world, with over 400 million people between the ages of 15 and 35 years old. This demographic dividend can contribute towards peace, security, and truly inclusive and sustainable development. Of course, this would require socio-economic investment driven by political will to improve our developmental index as a country and as a continent. And this is why the NDC government is driving several youth development policies and programs, which is also in recognition of the African Union's Agenda 2063, the African Youth Charter, and the UN Resolution 2250 on youth, peace, and security.
I would therefore appeal to National Chairman General Secretary to find a way of making this occasion mandatory for government officials, for party officials to attend, and make consequences thereof for not attending such occasions. I think we must retake June 4th seriously if we believe that that accountability, probity are part of our core principles, and that we lose our identity as a party if these principles, we lose sight of these principles and these core values. And for that matter, I'm appealing again to government, to National Chairman General Secretary, to reconsider making June 4th a national event and a national holiday again. June 4th is as equally important as 4th August. It is as equally important as 6th March. It's as equally important as 1st July. And it is not just about NDC. It is a national issue. It is a day that the whole country reawaken its conscience, just as Jesus Christ resurrected.
Yɛtwansɛm no so asan akɔfa ngo boa yɛde ɛyɛ fantua ba ɛto ɔgyegye na ɔmo ka bi ewom ɛwɔ fango adwuma mu nso akasa kopeg mpanifo bi sɛ radankanamo a ɔmo akasa kyerɛ sɛ de aban ayɛ deɛ ɔmo gidi sɛ ɛntwa yie
ma aban nkɔyɛ na adwene sɛ it's the easiest way to make money nti bɛhwɛ Ghana fo anim agyegye ɛdɔɔso one cedi nye sika ketewa say aban no wɔ plan bi say bia one cedi yɛgye ne 3 months yɛgye ne 1 week yɛgye ne 3 days 1 hour bi na yɛde aso bibia no nti Ghana for momwa yɛn I'm sure maybe we can have a communication or conversation around that but say yɛde beto petrol so tra agyeje because ECG wɔ problem ECG problem no ɛnyɛ sika na yɛde solve kɛkɛ se sika timi solve ECG problem and care started ESLA Energy Sector Levies Act since 2015 December 21st the core parliament yeah started January 3rd 2016 yeah just sika almost 10 years in here from 2.2 billion legacy debts na never on and say a 3.1 billion and clearly a sika problem alone. You may need money there, but a sika problem. And wherever the problems exist, say under recovery on power sector, I think we should take the bull by the horn and fix it. You need to fix the issues, do the heavy lifting. The money may be necessary, but it is not the solution as 10 years of ESLA has demonstrated. Obeki or corruption, no transmission losses. Again, also making sure that collections are ECG by 82 different accounts ECG nkwade. Minister so stop it. But as to whether say the benefit of it, I can't say for now. It do be also unpublish ECG this month. You know, accounts ECG as of this month. Sika yewo, eka ye blah blah. There should be a dashboard, a transparent dashboard. Then yen so ECG nyabi. So kaso to IPP sika even with half the money now. A car so better saying. But it should not be as though there's no issue. Sorry, near ECG, party here. Near G and we are near about ECG Nisika Ghana for me to ya.
Yeah, dear catch up by say, in Fonsoa, by na ye, Sabi say, I think say the stakeholder engagement was not done at all. There was zero stakeholder engagement. Now, by Bia, so only sector be a year, what did you say about Fene, only sector and better over free power sector, over free oil sector, over free gas sector. Now, yeah, discuss it. Now, into a back say now, yeah, shocked because now we are all shocked. We be a boy, a perfume, say there is one step account with no communication, you know, and with no clear understanding of the impact of this to the sector and even to the consumer, you know. So, and Quebec say Quebec into a tour, but it's here because I share honorable minister. Now you heard the meeting I have found.
Ebeda ne ho age aboafo nkrato efe tosuminu ye ba e de kase bo no beto amuso. ekua na se bedwekua ehwe Ghana hase yen said you see a tro in social West Africa Examination Council waye konne omakasa achemu se ne kwan amanfo efa so se bi ebokro no e wonhwemu no social no omutu ho anamo se de be a sane omanu nyina ebetimi eto etwa na pania ono ene kasama waye kai Owura John Kapi odensem we nyina to dwa abra omune panifo ehia no mu edi abobu no kase se ehwe amantem na eyebono ahafo ena afi bono East amantem no ene di kan pa se ba eye mantem ahodo a nsehwe koso a eye abonofosem esi ekoso a eho sa mantem yensen ene di kan
waye kia ye nsehwe Ghana ha be 73 years now we are free 2000 ho badoniema bi a ensem fata ACC wo ye nsehwe no mu nti yenya reports are eba over the years ebia from 2020 2021 22 and 23 ninyina ne dia bom ne hu se no ye hwe the senior more practice ne koso na ya nhwe a emwa yen nti ye the way etodwase ne be ya amanfo nyina be hu se say ne koso a enye ensem fatase yesa na ya nhwe na se ye ntwato a enne ye mana ye de omko school no nhwe a dachin omdachin enye ye senior penono. On a regional scale, over the years, so every region be their ecosro. Sometimes we have statistics now, depending on the number of candidates, because when you have smaller candidature, the level of malpractice will drop. But then for now, no, you share Bono area or Bono Ahafo, any Bono East, and I say Nyomano ecosro. And a face over Ashanti region, a honso, Niomano be a coso. What I started said, Yedeba out, so we are central, there no a crossroad, but Sedamedica relative to candidate channel. We have a few say form, but over the years, who say and also a crossroad cacra. Well, she share na ya no, senior Afibia no, this time around, ya printing no, Aku anymore fine. By Wednesday, they be able to me action so here na say sensitization of examination candidates, sensitization of supervisors, vigilators, district directors, and examination officials in into obia nim roller was a play in the course of the examination. Come next Wednesday, Nyame Adoma ye betumi ahya na ye bo Nyame mpa ye se nsɔhwɛ no next Wednesday bees ne be hya na mpa ye bo no se obia ye na kasa bia no be kono akoye de wo se oye na nsɔhwɛ no so akɔso ne pɛ no no
adekire ekoso a ye kire enkwara no e wo schools mu a emma se akwara ni made anya de a odi bibi be ka no ho e de akɔ exam hall akɔkɔ biom akɔkyerɛkyerɛ e de ahyɛ mu biom enti ye ade e kire ye mmɔfra no ye bompa ye se awofo no so omo so omo nhwɛ ye se omo ba exams hall na mo omo nkura phones a e de how e de bembre ye nyina because ha awofo no e betimi ama omo agi phones yi na omo atwa enkwara no exams ne se yemfa ma mu biom efise ya ho nnema a emfata mu de awra exam halls no mu
for aha ne de kasebo ni besi na mame fast da kese ma Pepsodent ya pause papa ye di twi ese misro numre obe pause a Pepsodent na make camfo e de amaw akase wom adantemu na afi emofra de se mofra no betwi omose ama omose ayo omonum ayo omode na omose so apai fitade a na me camfo Pepsodent e de amaw ene mofra is omo po omose a apose papa agidin Pepsodent se mofra de no omo po omose na atum so omo sre na omose no so pai fita ni na Pepsodent adaroma apose we na me camfo amaw ene anwumre ene dane dan nyina be pause bia e do mase se non so kasebo a de be so mo no omo eso yasene aha na de kasebo ni nyina be se ene eso manwumre me Kwame Owusu eduomi mene
enim ado yedama se mu kan ho ne de kasebo yi ebremu